Merry meet and welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. Today's video is going to be on, I'm going to loosely title this video Spirit Animals, Totems, and Power Animals. And I'm going to go into a tad bit of a rant here for just a second, so humor me. And most Wiccans don't want to hear what I am about to say, okay? The use of totem animals is not part of a traditional Wiccan practice, okay? A lot of times when people get into Wicca and then they start exploring other pagan practices or other spiritual paths, such as like Buddhism, Hinduism, etc., they cherry pick things along the way that they seem to have an affinity or a bond for. But there is no such thing as totems in traditional Wicca. So get that out of your head right now, because it's not a thing. But like I said, a lot of neo-Wiccans, neo-pagans, tend to pick up things and cherry pick from other practices because they feel some sort of an affinity with that. However, unless you are practicing a shamanic path of a Native American persuasion, you have no right to use the term totems. If you have been trained properly by a shaman from a tribal practice, Native American practice, fine. If you have the blessing of that shaman, medicine man, medicine woman, elder, okay? There are some European shamanic practices that connect with a form or a type of spirit animal, okay? But the word totem, animal, is usually attributed only to Native American practices and a shamanic Native American path, okay? So, the term spirit animal was actually just created by anthropologists, okay? And it may have captured the concept of what the practices were for indigenous peoples, but it did not properly or fully honor their practice, okay? So be very, very careful when you are cherry picking from other practices, whether it's heathenry, whether it's Buddhism, Hinduism, Druidry, shamanism from a Native American path. Be very, very careful about cultural appropriation, okay? There are some practices in areas where you had such a blending of cultures where it wasn't necessarily culturally appropriated, but it became just an everyday way of thinking and an everyday way of doing things. And I will get into that in another video that I am planning on different types of folk magic. So just be very, very careful, okay? So that's why if you are a Wiccan and you have an affinity and you have a bond with an animal, I'm going to call them power animals. Some people call them energy animals. And a power animal is more of like a spiritual guard. They can be a spiritual guardian, just like You know, your guardians and spirit guides and, you know, things of that nature. You also have animal guardians and guides, okay? Animals come to you to help you through specific times, or you bond with them on such a deep level, they are with you your entire life, okay? There have been many a time when I have been either in a very deep trance state or a very, very deep meditative state, especially when doing things in the like astral realm, that I will come across an animal, okay? And a lot of times it's just, you know, that animal is kind of curious about what the heck is this girl doing here. And at other times they are sent to me to help me work through something, okay? Or to help me, remind me about something. So let's kind of get into it. This is another one of my pet peeves. It's turned into a little bit of a rant video, and I'm not meaning it to be. A lot of times when you ask people, do you have, you know, a totem, a spirit animal, a power animal? Please don't use totem or spirit animal, because it's just, unless you're Native American, don't use totem and don't use spirit animal, because it's just kind of offensive in the long run. But if you ask somebody about a power animal, if they have one, you're usually going to get a bear, a wolf, or an eagle, something like that. A bird of prey. Well, those are all, you know, sexy. Those are very powerful, you know, kinds of things. You think of you know, a wolf and being, you know, independent, and a bear with their might and their strength, and the eagle, you know, being able to fly high and rise above things. Yeah. And that's usually wishful thinking. It's not because they have that affinity with that animal, usually. It's because they wish they possessed those traits themselves, okay? And it's not such a bad thing, but you need to be more aware in your everyday life. Let's put it this way. Unless you are, you know, out in the mountains somewhere, like in the United States, the chances of you having a brown bear sitting on your front porch is pretty slim. Some people do. They have bears coming into their yards and everything, but you're usually not in a very populated suburban area, usually. There are always exceptions and weird things happening. The same thing, you know, I happen to live in a part of the United States where we do have bald eagles. So it is very common for me to see one. There are other parts of the United States where it's highly unlikely that you will ever see a bald eagle, okay? Where you find your guides, your animal guides, your animal guardians are in your everyday, mundane walk of life, and in your dreams, or along, if you're a fairly advanced practitioner, your work in the astral realm, okay? Let's say you are a creative person. Let's say you're an artist and you have completely lost your spark. Your creative spark is gone. And you tried everything at your disposal to light that spark in you again. And all of a sudden you wonder why you are being tormented by spiders appearing all over your house. So your natural thing is to go and get a bunch of bug bombs and kill them all. because they're pests and you really don't want them dropping down. You know, you've watched those horror movies where they've had spiders coming out of people's mouths and noses and everything else. And in fact, those spiders can be bringing you that creative spark. So if they're not hurting you, leave them alone, because they're trying to bring ideas your way. Also, if you have that little voice in your head that something is up, that something isn't right, and someone may not be being exactly honest with you, and you keep seeing, you know, a spider build its web at your front door, they're exposing a web of deceit to you. Okay? It is reminding you to look very hard, not only at those around you, but are you lying to yourself? But a spider isn't very sexy, is it? It's not that power symbol of that bear, or the rising above with the eagle, right? Or the independence of a wolf. A spider is a little creepy thing. Yeah, I know. My dog has an injury on his side. He's got a hot spot. He has Hawaiian shorts on. Yes, he does. You're not seeing things. The shorts are to keep his brother from licking the hot spot and making it worse. He's got to bear the indignity of wearing shorts to keep his brother from licking his leg. So you are not imagining a dog in Hawaiian shorts behind me, okay? That's the great things about being a fur baby mom, okay? So let's look again, okay? Be very, very observant about what birds are showing up to greet you every morning. What bugs keep powerbombing your head when you're outside. I remember when I had just separated from my ex-husband. Every night when I came home from work, there was a rabbit sitting on the front porch. And you may be like, yeah, well, whoop-de-doo. Listen, I live in a busy suburb of Washington, D.C. I live in a townhouse. I have a postage stamp for a yard, okay? It is very unusual to see rabbits and things like that out and about. I also had, you know, rabbits that would come up in the common area behind my house. And so the rabbits, or hares, symbolize independence, survival, and speed. Okay? I knew once it clicked with me, the rabbits are trying to tell me something. They were trying to get me through a very, very long, nasty divorce that took 18 months and tens of thousands of dollars to get rid of my ex-husband. Okay? Once my divorce was finalized and I had broken free from that bad relationship, I haven't seen rabbits come around since. Okay? About a year and a half ago or so, my better half, every night when he came home, there was a skunk sitting on that same front porch in front of that same townhouse. And it was very unusual to have a skunk sitting on the front porch. So I'd get this phone call and he's like, "Hey, Paula, there's a skunk on the front porch." I'm like, "Well, you're out of your mind." He's like, "No, dude, I'm serious. I thought it was a black cat with a white tail, and it's a friggin' skunk. I'm going to be sitting in the car until, you know, Buster moseys on along his way." And this went on for weeks. every time he came home from working at the jail, he was greeted by a skunk on the front porch. Now, mind you, he is a Taurus. He is a law enforcement officer. So he can be a little bit, he's very focused. You know, he likes his routine, and he is a very determined person. Once he sets his mind to something, he's very determined. I'm a Leo. He's a Taurus. We can both be pig-headed and stubborn and very opinionated. And the skunk came around at a time when he needed to not take himself so damn seriously. Between the two of us, I'm the one that is more, well, I'm a little what we'll lovingly call eccentric. Like a lot of Leos are. Anyway, I'm like the Yahoo party girl compared to Mr., you know, stable Taurus. And we are a good match for each other because we balance each other out. But once I told him, I said, listen, you want to know what that skunk's trying to tell you? He's trying to tell you to lighten the hell up, because he was so focused on something that was going on at work that he was missing like a lot of fun along the way. Okay? Once he like quit being such a nudge about this one particular situation at work, and he let that go and quit chewing on it, the skunk quit coming around. So a power animal, you may actually miss that they were even there, because you have to take the time to just observe. So this means you have to take a deep breath and actually stop, smell the roses, see what bug's hanging on that rose, and go from there. You know, make notice of the birds that are out in your tree in your front yard every day. They may be there to help you through something that you're going through, okay? To help you either make it through, or to figure out how to tackle a problem, or to make you open your eyes to something that's going on around you, okay? Mythological creatures can also be a power animal, and I will never forget this, and I'm going to go into this a little bit more, but when I was training, we were working with dragon magic, and I'm going to be doing a video on that in this like level 4 series of advanced witchcraft that I'm working on. And we were sitting, my high priestess's shop was literally right on a tributary to the Potomac, to the Occoquan. And the Occoquan River feeds into the Potomac River and out to the Chesapeake Bay. And her shop, literally, you could get out on the back balcony and you were right there. If you jumped off the balcony, you would be literally right there at the water, okay, about 10 feet back. And we had gone down across a little footpath and crossed over to the other side of that creek that fed into the Occoquan River. And we were sitting there in a circle talking about dragon magic. And this big shadow went across, and you only saw it on the reflecting off the surface of the water. And there were about 12 of us sitting there. We all got wide-eyed like that, and I went, "Did y'all see that?" And everybody went, "Yeah." And we had a water dragon join us while we were sitting there talking about dragon magic and how to connect with the essence of dragon magic. But you have to have your eyes open. You have, for mythological creatures, you have to have your intuition and your third eye open, okay? You have to be willing to receive it and believe what you see so that those messages and that help can come through to you. Okay? There was a reason a water dragon came and blessed my coven with that experience that night. Okay? If you have ever, had a very like a dream that was so real and a mythological creature came into play, like Pegasus, a unicorn, a dragon, a griffin, a basilisk, any number of mythological creatures. Or if you have seen one when you're doing astral travel, when you're doing that astral work, or you're doing deep shadow work, and one appears to you when you're in that shadow state, pay attention and look and see what they are trying to get to you. I will never forget when I did a dragon meditation and I connected with my personal dragon. He has gotten me through a whole hell of a lot of rotten stuff. And guess what? He's a water dragon. Okay? So, let's get into some correspondences. Okay? Because that's what a lot of people want to know about. Alright? I'm going to go over as always, guys, there is a link in the description box to a Google Doc on quote-unquote spirit animals, power animals, and totems, okay? And I'm going to go over some just really common ones that people want to know about. And I encourage you to do more research in this area. Llewellyn's has, and I hate the name of it, but it's a pretty good little book of spirit animals, and this is by Melissa Alvarez. I don't like the title, but she does inside call them more power animals than spirit animals, okay? I don't like that title. I wish they had called it something else, but I understand marketing reasons why they called it spirit animals. So let's talk about, okay, bats, okay? Because, sometimes, people just want to be with the creepy stuff that they think witches, roll around with all the time. So let's go with bats, okay? Bats are symbols of transformation, telling you that transformation is necessary. And this can either be a physical or an inner transformation, okay? It's also telling you, because, bats congregate together, right? This is, they encourage you to group interaction rather than being solitary. Okay, so if you are now a practicing solitary and you keep having bats come around, I know when I used to go down to my friend's house, out to her pool in the summer, every daggone night that I showed up, we would get dive bombed by bats that would come and drink out of her pool. And it only happened when I was there. So, hey. But they were helping me to go through a very big transformation when I was first starting out down this path. Okay? Let's talk about that bear. Okay, that I mentioned earlier. Bears have strength, right? But they have a very gentle nature for the most part. If you don't mess with them, they won't mess with you. But honey, think of that mama bear. If you mess with one of her cubs, you are going to be ripped to shreds. Okay, when they feel like they are in danger, they will rip you apart, okay? They often appear when you need to take time away from yourself, okay? You need to quit taking things so doggone seriously and think about yourself and get recentered. Find your focus and your balance again, okay? They also remind you to not just pay attention to like someone's outward appearance, but look deeper inside, because what you might find will surprise you, okay? Let's talk about, oh, let's go to another witchy thing. Let's talk about cats, okay? Cats symbolize harmony and timing, okay? They also symbolize exploring the unknown, all right? Curiosity killed the cat, right? Remember that? They always are so curious about everything around them. They go out and they explore. They remind you to stay quiet and observe what's going on around you. Have you ever seen a cat just kind of hunker down and look and see what that bird's doing? And you know he's just waiting for the right time to pounce. It's what they're telling you to do. To hunker down and take a hard look at what's going on around you and observe, okay? They also remind you to be flexible in your relationship with others, all right? Let's talk about another one that a lot of people like, the eagle. I mentioned it earlier. When an eagle appears, it means that you are free of restrictions. You are soaring high above everyone else. Okay, don't let anything hold you back. They are also a sign of protection, or that you will play the role of protecting someone else. Okay? Let's talk about something that's going on like right now in the South, in the United States, and that is lightning bugs where I'm from, or fireflies if you're from, you know, the more northern reaches. Fireflies give you hope when all is dark. They can be illuminating the path for you along your spiritual journey, and they remind you to attract like-minded people. Okay? Let's talk about, oh, a lion. Lions. Lions appear when you are about to step into a leadership role, okay? You need to be more visible and to have your voice heard. You may be stepping into a dominant role, even in a relationship, where usually you've been the one that has kind of been in the background supporting. Something may happen where you have to step up and be the leader, okay? Lions also remind you to not just lay around and goof off instead of getting something important accomplished. Because while that male lion may be, you know, sitting there kind of flipping the flies off of himself, that lioness is out there hunting down the daggone meal for the day. Okay? Just remember that. Let's talk about owls. That's another thing that seemed to be, you know, kind of witchy. Owls warn you to pay attention to what's going on around you, okay? Pay attention not only to what you see, but to the things that are unseen or hidden as well, okay? See the truth behind the mask that others wear. Owls encourage your skills of observation, and they also help you expand your learning by gaining wisdom. Remember the wise old owl, okay? The raven. Another witchy thing, right? When a raven appears, you need to speak up for yourself. Ravens help you learn new skills or study a new metaphysical topic, okay? Ravens were often called keepers of secrets, okay? So they may appear when you have to keep a secret, either for yourself or for someone else. And it's usually a doozy when a raven appears, Okay? Let's talk about a snake. That's another witchy thing, right? Snakes symbolize transformation, the awakening of creative forces, and a connection to a higher consciousness. And snakes usually appear during a time of extreme spiritual growth. And snakes can be your protector as you grow and change. Let's talk about that wolf. All right. Wolves symbolize wildness, independence. They're courageous. They're loyal. They symbolize a pack or community mentality. They are very strong-willed, but they're curious, okay? They remind you to be sincere in dealing with loved ones, even if you have to put them in their place. If you have to step up and be the alpha and slap them around a little bit, step up and be the alpha, okay? They also remind you to let go of what no longer serves you personally and professionally. All right? Let's talk about a couple of mythological creatures, okay? Dragons. They symbolize good luck, strength, and financial growth, okay? Dragons are strong and they have strength of character. And it's character and knowledge and wisdom that has been gained throughout ages, okay? When a dragon appears to you, it means that you are open to and drawn to metaphysical things, to the occult. You are a leader with a great deal of presence. And people are drawn to you because of your presence and your strength. Okay? Let's talk about the phoenix. That's another one that a lot of people like to say that that's their totem. Now, the phoenix symbolizes birth, living life, death, and rebirth. Okay? We all saw Fox, turn to ashes and then be reborn, right? In Dumbledore's room. They have the ability to overcome hard times and bounce back better than ever, okay? They bring you a sense of spiritual awareness, intuition, and being and feeling connected to the universe. However, look at the phoenix. They have to be completely destroyed to ashes to be reborn. Okay? So, a phoenix may be helping you come out of rock friggin' bottom. And I mean rock bottom. Just remember, they have to be destroyed completely to be reborn into something else, into something better. Okay? Let's talk about, there are other Wiccans that like unicorns farting glitter. I'm not one of them, but I'll talk to you about unicorns appearing to you. Unicorns symbolize purity, innocence, faith, your intuition, and enchantments. They symbolize what is right in the universe. And they give you the connection to the higher realms of spirituality. They appear to connect you to your core existence, your inner being, and your higher self. So all the realms of your existence, okay? They also can appear when your spirit guides are trying to reach you and get a friggin' message across to you, and you ain't friggin' paying attention to them. Damn. So when you see a unicorn, stop what you're doing, and that's even one of the stuffed ones that you see pop up somewhere that you're not really like, what the hell? Stop what you're doing and listen for the messages from your guides and your guardians, okay? Because you need to be paying attention about something, all right? So friends, that's it for power animals. I will be recording in the next couple of days a meditation to help you connect with your power animal, okay? It'll probably say spirit animal in the title. Maybe not. I haven't made up my mind. But, you know, clicks and views. That's all I gotta say, all right? People can find it by looking for spirit animal, and they may not find it if they look for power animal, all right? So, YouTube algorithms, what can I say? Anyhow, folks, that's it for this video. Be sure to check the description box for the document that I did with all the notes about this video, including other correspondences of other animals and mythical creatures, okay? You should be able to get to it just fine. If you have any problems, leave a comment on the video or DM me on Twitter at thewitchescall1, okay? And with that, my friends, merry weeded meet, merry weeded part, until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.